Right, part two of my my man box review. Now, I'm going to point out a little something here. And to save some identity, I'm going to be changing the names of the people involved. Now, I am on Facebook. Now, if you want to look me up on Facebook, you can, but I only do it primarily for my mates and my family members. So, yeah, if I make up a page, I will do it, but only if I get enough requests. Anyway, moving on. When I found out that I've got this box back. I wrote I have found my man box on my status review for Facebook. Now, a certain lady came along, and we'll change their names to hide their identities. So, for instance, we'll call this lady Michelle, and she basically said that it is not a man box; it is a boys box because it is full of toys. Yes, it is full of toys, but at the same time, it is. Well, I also have my P60s in there. Don't know why they were in there. And my blood donning badge, which I'm quite chuffed with. I've given blood. Hang on. Oh, there you go. Given blood 10 times. The only reason I'm glad I found that is because I'm not far off from my bronze one, which, if I recall, is doing it 25 times. So that's a little mile marker for me. But moving on, she and I basically said, I was saying yes, it is a man box because it's got my bits in it, but she was saying no, it's not a man box, it's a child box. I would like to point out that she's still wrong. There is at least one man alive who has one, and apart from me, and at some point, every man has a box full of stuff that they have through their life, or at some point that they've collected. It's just a given fact. Every man has one, and women have one. Now, even though they will bloody say that they don't, they do. And it will have some sort of trinket, some sort of stuff. Like, for instance, okay, over there is, if you can see it, where the black cat, where the heart is, one, two, three to the left, there's a giant doll next to the bear. That belongs to my wife, and that is the first toy she ever had. And on top of my wardrobe is my dog. Now, I've had him since I was about 4 months old. I will never get rid of him, and the same can be pretty much said about my wife's doll. She will never get rid of her either. And that is where the memories come from. I've had that dog for all my life, basically. And this is where the man box comes from, because although I haven't had these all my life, these are parts of my life. So I don't really want to get rid of them because, okay, they've got obviously the financial aspect to it, but it's more the sentimental value to it now. But this argument is still kind of ongoing, and I don't see it having any conclusion. But however, there is another person who I know of we will call him Paul, who will probably hopefully agree with me, because he has a man cave. I want a man cave one day, and I bet his one looks beautiful. From the pictures I've seen, he's got the old. I don't know if you remember back in the day, the old style X-Men cartoon. They did all the action figures. He's got like mint condition ones in their boxes hanging up on the wall, but like here and there, and then it's got bits next to it. It looks awesome. I want a man cave. It's only fair. Now, moving on to my next part. A few Christmas. A lot of this is actually Christmas presents, really. In a previous video, I was doing the top 10 films, my absolute favorite films. One of them happens to be The Terminator and Terminator 2. Please don't ask me about Terminator 3. I will not give you a nice answer. But one of the presents I got was from my mum and dad, which happens to be, and I'm so glad that I found this, because I actually found this separately in one of my cupboards. This. Now this, I've just managed to fix it because I had a bit of a problem with the lights. So, don't muck with him. He is the Terminator. He will find you, and that's it. Hang on. Now, I'm going to tell you about the Terminator. It's just a story of Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese and Arnold Schwarzenegger, who comes back in time to kill her. I sound like, yeah, it's like Achmed the Dead Terrorist. Hello, infidel. What do you think? And now? Not really. And now? No? God damn it. Oh, I mean, Allah damn it. Anyway, I've also, and I should point out, it came in this pose when I found it. It's like the Godfather meets the Terminator. It's like, you do not disrespect me, do you? Oh, actually, hang on. Yeah, one thing I have actually found out is that this hand comes off, and it has the phase plasma rifle. As it gets in shot. So that's the phase plasma rifle at a 40-watt range that the famous quote from Arnie in the first Terminator film where he's in the gun shop and the guy says, you see whatever's here. Now on YouTube there is actually a test of a mock-up of this gun. If I can find it I will add the link to it, but it was quite a long time ago I watched this, so I don't know if it still exists. However, this, hopefully, 2 secs, should fit. Ooh. Come on, you know you want to. 2 secs. Crap. He bent his finger off. I will endeavour to get this to fit, even if it's the last thing I do. Anyway, so whilst I'm doing this, right, it's not going to fit, but just to prove what it looks like, it looks kind of like this. And you know, this. Let's take it now. Is it a figure? Is it a statue? I don't know. We'll call it a statue for the time being. It does have a pretty good articulation for what's involved. Now, center of gravity is a bit on the annoying side sometimes because sometimes it wants to stand up, sometimes it doesn't. So I kind of have to hold it just for a sec. No, it's not going to work. But the articulation and the detail in this is actually very good. Like, for instance, one bit I never figured out was, what was this bit for on the Terminator? Because was it even in there? I mean, underneath it's just a hollow piece. But, you know, like I said, the jaw moves quite nicely. The eyes light up. The head moves quite... It does actually move like a normal person's head. You know, if you look carefully, you can see all these struts moving. The arms have got nice articulation into it, so it can go back and forth. The arm moves out quite nicely. You know, if you, like I said, if you watch carefully, you can actually see it's actually moving as if it was a Terminator. That's, well, a proper one. So, for instance, you can move the arms out, but obviously they haven't got as much. You know, not like a normal person. I can put my arm above my head. Yes, this one can go to about so about a 90-degree angle, and then obviously the arm moves up the full, 180. However, it will not move up any further than that, and however, on the other point, it will only go back. It only goes back about that far, which is probably about half of that, so about 23 degrees. The arm spins around 180, so is the hand. The only difference that they have done on this one is that because the hands come off, I do have the spare hand somewhere, but I have to find that. Is that, but it's only this hand that comes off. I think that's actually the one that fits this gun, if you want it. This one doesn't come. This hand doesn't come off, but it's got the same, articulation on that. The arm moves up as high. Now, this is the other thing. On the legs, move the arms out of the way. The legs themselves do actually move apart, and as you can see, they do have struts built into them. However, the legs, the actual knees do bend properly, and the toes move, in and out properly. However, the leg itself will only go out to about there, which means if you wanted to have it in a seated position, that is probably about as far. So I pull this back. That it's ever going to get. So it's going to be, and you can't move it any further forward. Now that is a bit of a downside, because if you wanted to have it sitting down somewhere on your desk or something, or even as a bit of a practical joke, you can't do that. So you'd have to have it standing, but then you'd have to try and work out its center of gravity, which is pretty much leaning forward all the time. Now I can just about get this to stand up straight. Now that's me not holding it, but as you can see, it needs to be stood up pretty much. Hang on, there we go. Pretty much leaning forward the entire time. I'm going to move that back just so you can see it, so you can get a decent shot of it, just to see that I'm not joking. So it is standing upright. It's a pretty well detailed actual model of it. Because I've seen some of the old Terminator 2 film toys that they had, and they were abysmal. But this one is actually very, very good. Bit dusty, but no harm in that. So with this one, if I had to give it a mark out of 10 for its detail, I'd give it 9, probably about 9.5 out of 10. The only reason I'm giving it half a point is because of the articulation on some of the joints. But to be fair, it wouldn't be a true model if it wasn't. So that's why I'm giving it its half point. And yeah, so this is actually a very detailed one. I'll give you a quick squiz around the back as well, because I've just remembered. The other thing I have just noticed is that the spine properly moves, as you can see, because obviously and then the actual, there you go, the actual torso moves as well, and it will stay in some relative way that you leave it. But yeah, it's actually a very decent model, this. So like I said, I'm going to give it 9.5 out of 10 just because of that. And the fact that I haven't dusted it, so it needs a bit of a once over. But the paint job is brilliant. The design, and even on like the little pieces, like for instance the little side piece on here where you press the button, that's all designed up. So if I can show you that, see, so you can see the head looks pretty decent to a Terminator. It's not one of those cheapo ones. That's why I will be putting this back up. I might even see if I can get some sort of stand for it, if I can, or find a way of getting it to freestand properly, because it's got a couple of proper balls on the heel, as like proper balls on the person's heel, and I think that's what's making it fall over all the time. But I will endeavour on that. And the very last thing I've just noticed is that the actual legs turn round, do a complete 180. So that's basically all of it for the Terminator. If you haven't watched the film, shame on you. It's a fantastic film and you should watch it. Now, I'm going to leave off on that one. So that's toy review part 2. I have no idea how many of these I'm going to make, but it will be one continuous part. So my next one is going to, I don't know which one. I'm going to leave that to fate on that one. So I will see you for part 3. See you in a bit.